God knows why he's making you a witness of a person receiving a certain thing, because God is blessing people every single day that we know and that we don't know of. He might be blessing someone with kids after years of not having kids, and I'll never know of them because they're somewhere in the end of Nepal and they don't have social media, and I'll never know of their existence. The same way, going through TikTok and I see someone answer a random street question and win $1 million. God, it purposefully makes you see certain things. Like if you don't see it, it's because he doesn't want you to see it. So pay attention to what things God are making you see, what successes or he's showing you. And you know, someone's success is not the equation of your failure. It just means that maybe you'll know what to do differently when you reach that point. So hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Demalia, and on this channel we just talk. So let's get into the meat of today's video. Today's video is going to be straight to the point, and we're going to be talking on the topic of how jealousy is simply just being disrespectful to God. Let's just keep it straight. Let's just keep it a buck. Being jealous is telling God that he does not know what he's doing with the resources he has. And let's explore that deeper. Jealousy in its simplest form is communicating that you think that God did not make a good decision, whether it's regarding you, regarding the person he blessed with something that you're jealous with. It's telling the God you believe that you didn't do what you were supposed to do. People might hear this and be like, whoa, that doesn't mean that. I just simply, no. At its most elementary form, that's what you're communicating. You might not know it, but that's what you're communicating. There's two main forms of jealousy. So the first form of jealousy is feeling some type of way because someone has something that you don't have. And I feel like this is the most normal form of jealousy. I feel like when a person feels this way, it's not because they're fundamentally a wrong person, or it's not that they're fundamentally like evil spirited or evil hearted. It just is like one of the human traits we have. Not to say it can't be worked on, because there's many spiritual practices, like in my spiritual tradition as well, Islam, there's many practices that can rid you from that kind of trait, to not be content with what someone has, because you feel like you're constantly in an abundance mindset. Like whatever this person has, not only you can get it, but God will maybe even bless you with something better. See someone having something, that does not mean that you will never get that. It just means that it's not your time to get it. If I could give like a very basic example, honestly, as a small YouTube creator, I open my FYP, or I open my YouTube page, and I see people with like their first video blowing up. I be completely honest with each other. I feel like it magnifies, like you are speaking this into existence. That's what the energy you exude. I don't want to sound like a kooky new age person, but I genuinely believe that when you want good for people, it comes back to you. Fast forward to now, when I'm really just posting and knowing that it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. I just see the difference. It's like, yeah, I'm not hitting like thousands, but I can definitely see the difference when I'm posting a video just to post, where I'm just doing this for fun. The only way to fail at something is when you stop doing it. And honestly, failure for me is not having one view. Failure is not showing up and not posting a video. So when I started like changing the paradigm in which I saw things, I did see like, oh, okay, this short did super well, or you know, I've got this comment that I really like. So I think that the first form of jealousy, it's not like you're not a horrible person if you feel it. We're all gonna feel it in different moments of our life, whether that's school. Some people are jealous of people's relationships, jealous of people's success, jealous of people's looks. You know, it's a visceral reaction. It's something that we're born with. It's in our innate disposition, or as you can say in Islam, in our fitra. That's how we are. Someone looks better than you, you're gonna, you know, you're gonna tense up. But the work you have to do is to be able to have a response that's, if not faster than the first visceral reaction you will have to when someone looks better than you or has something more than you. You have to work for them to like collide and come at the same time, and that the one that, you know, you're hoping for, as in being not jealous of someone, is the one that comes first, and the one that your body processes first. You see a pretty girl walking out, and you have two different like sources of thinking. The thinking of, oh my god, she's prettier than me, that means I'm an ugly girl, and oh my god, she's a beautiful girl, period. Or she's a beautiful girl, I'm a beautiful girl too. God created us and we're beautiful in different ways. You have to make sure, you have to train yourself through a lot of spiritual practices to be able to have that thought process be almost instantaneous. And you can do this through many ways. And I can only speak of the spiritual way I take, or the religious path. I have trouble with the word religion because I don't see Islam kind of as a religion. It's a deen. It's a way of life, a way we carry ourselves. And I think religion is very, if I can say the word religion is very dogmatic or whatsoever, but I'm not here to speak more views about religion. But the things I do is speak God's divine names. In our tradition, God has 99 divine names, and within those divine names, they encompass almost anything you can think of. The giver, forgiver, the creator, the maker, the fashioner, the protector, generous. Like so many names and attributes of Allah that like Whenever you see someone's beauty, you have to see that as a direct kind of like, she's beautiful, but the most beautiful has created her. Or he's giving, but the most giving has given him the ability to give. It just means battling against your own self. Your ego is going to be your biggest enemy when these kind of things happen, because your jealousy is what you believe that you are the one who's worthy of this. Like, why did God give this person this platform, this success, this money, this relationship? Because I'm the one who deserves it. No, like, who are you? Step down a little. We can't be too entitled. That's the manifestation of the ego, and you have to do many things to, kind of work for you to be able to see in another perspective. So if they have success, fine. I want to be a successful person, but they have success. That does not mean anything. That has nothing to do with my success. If anything, you should see people as inspiration. Oh, she's successful? Okay, let me see ways I can reciprocate, or let me see some game. And I always say, don't take game from someone on the bench. You have to take game from a goat, from someone who played the game, which is a video I'm going to do later this month, hopefully. Don't be content with the plug. Go to the source. Someone's success should not be an indicator of your failure. Use their success as a way to try to kind of help your own success. Learn from them. Have them as a mentor. It's not beneficial for any person in this case, because they're clearly winning and you're clearly bitter. Constantly purifying your soul, purifying your ego, being able to know that God knows why he's giving certain people certain things. I would even go a step further and say God knows why he's making you a witness of a person receiving a certain thing, because God is blessing people every single day that we know and that we don't know of. He might be blessing someone with kids after years of not having kids, and I'll never know of them because they're somewhere in the end of Nepal and they don't have social media, and I will never know of their existence. The same way I'm passing down the street or I'm going through TikTok and I see someone answer a random street question and win $1 million. God purposefully makes you see certain things. Like, if you don't see it, it's because he doesn't want you to see it. So also pay attention to what things God are making you see, what successes or he's showing you. Someone's success, like I said, it's not the equation of your failure. It just means that maybe you'll know what to do differently when you reach that point. Sometimes, I don't know if it's delusional, but I'm just in my room and I'm like, okay, person hit 100K and this is what they did with their money. I'm like, okay, when I'm gonna hit 100K, this is what I'm gonna do. You see that kind of thinking, that not, oh, they made 100K, so I'm never gonna make 100K. No, it's like, okay, they had 100K and they did this with that, but when I am going to, even though you're not close to it, but you know that the God that you're serving is someone who will give you, there's nothing, God does not put you here to suffer. Although this world is a test, we're not here to suffer. We can also have a good time, of course, with it's, respecting what God wants. I think I went way too deep into the first jealousy, because that's not even the one I wanted to dwell upon. It's the second form of jealousy that I feel like is nefarious, and honestly, quite frankly, it's a disease of the heart. First one, it's fine. We all go through it. Second one, a little bit more problematic than the first form of jealousy. I didn't even need this thing, but I'm just jealous that this person has it. There was this example where I said, I don't even have my license yet. I'm not even thinking of a car because I'm living in an apartment. I live next to the bus. I live next to the metro. But a person gets a car and you feel some type of way. Like, it's not like the first one where it's like, oh, shoot, I wanted a car, but they got a car before me. Let me cry about it. As human beings, this is our innate disposition. We want things, and when people have it, we feel some type of way. But the second one is nefarious because it wasn't even in your plans. You didn't even want this. So you're just jealous, even though it's not going to change anything in your life. It's one thing you wanted a car, but you don't have the money, and you feel like it's unfair because their parents bought them a car and da-da-da. That's different, because in this case, you're just a bitter person. Like, it's not going to change anything in your life. Like, you can't, even if you wanted a car, and even if they gave you a car tomorrow, you wouldn't even have a use for it. You don't even have your license. You didn't do anything towards making a step towards getting a car. Make a step towards getting a license, let alone getting a car. So always the same remedy that's going to be the case. You have to really constantly purify your ego, purify your soul. See what's the root of this issue. Like, why on earth was someone doing something that has nothing to do with you make you feel some type of way? Because it's like, I like the saying, there's no traffic when you're in your own lane. Like, when you're in your own lane, like, you don't really be caring about like what the person in the right lane is doing, what the person in the right lane is doing. So you have to get to the bottom of why you'd feel a certain way, and it really does have to say there's something deeper that you're not addressing. Maybe there's something else that you're jealous of this person, but you're kind of like channeling into the material good they had, because there's no way for you to be jealous of something that's not even going to benefit you if they put it in front of your door today. It's different. Like, I would even give you a pass if you were still in driving school and they got a car and you feel a certain type of way, because at least you're working towards getting your license. But you don't got a license, you're not even thinking of driving, and they have a car and it makes you feel a certain way. There's something deeper. The last one, and I think the most nefarious and the most dark and the most spiritually like disease of the heart, you already have what they have, but you're just jealous that someone else had it. I have a PhD. Okay, I'm happy, but you get a PhD and I feel a certain type of way. I feel jealous that you got a PhD too. Like, that is a litmus test to see if you're good down there. Like, you're good not only with God, but you're good with your own self. Like, if we're taking the same example of a PhD, you know how hard it is to go through a PhD, to be your own critic, to write a whole thesis, to defend it. You'd be happy that the person cross the finish line. Do you know how many people start PhDs and don't finish it? They literally have a running joke for graduate students calling it permanent head damage, like PhD meaning permanent head damage, because you're so much in your head. You are the only person responsible. You don't even have space for imposter syndrome. You are the boss, you are the employee, you are everything when you're doing a PhD. So how can you go through that and not feel anything but joy for a person who also crossed the finish line? And this can be, I'm saying this in the context of PhD, but this can be in so many things. Like, you're married, you're good, you have your kids, but you're jealous that someone also got married. Like, this is like where you really have to like take a step back and do like a really deep dive into what's wrong in your heart. And that's where you really have to like really connect with God, because I feel like the further you are from God, or the further you are in tune with like just seeing God as the Razak, or like the giver, or like the most generous, that's when you kind of inhabit these kind of behaviors. Aren't you happy that the same person who blessed you is blessing someone else? Like, it's understandable to be jealous when it's something you're aspiring for and someone got it. Fine. I'm not even saying fine, but it's best that you don't feel that way. But already having something and feeling some type of way because someone else got it is absolutely insane. There's a connection that's missing with you and God, because that way, like, you'd be so happy for someone to be blessed, especially if you have it. Like, why would you be jealous? And I'm saying why, but I do actually have some potential answers. For starters, I feel like a lot of people are happy insofar that you do not exceed them. They're happy you succeed as long as you don't exceed their success. They're genuinely happy for you as long as your successes are lower than theirs. First, using the same paradigm of like degrees, although like you can use this example for other things. I have a PhD. Okay, you get a bachelor's, I'm here cheering, howling in the stands for you. You get your master's, howling in the stands for you. You get your PhD, howling in the stands for you, maybe. But as soon as you get a postdoctorate and you get like maybe an honorarium, you did some research, so they just give you a symbolic PhD at a certain school. Now the person's no longer in the stands. You have surpassed their level of success and they can't deal with that. But if we go deeper into that, I do also think that it does have to do with the fact that some people as well know that you harbor some type of energy, whether that's the person you are, whether the personality you have, whether it's the way you carry yourself, that makes them feel like even though you guys have the same thing, you have potential to go farther than them. So they feel like, okay, I have a PhD, they have a PhD, but I know that right now it's just the beginning for them. Like for me, the PhD was the end of the height of my academic career. But for this person, they're probably going to become a professor emeritus. They're probably going to become a renowned researcher. Like I know them. I know that they're going to blow me through the waters. This world is abundant. God has everything you could think of. Just the fact that we're breathing, speaking, have so many variety of fruits, vegetables, have a roof over our heads. There's absolutely no traffic in your own lane. And as well, when you're grounded with like knowing that someone's success is not tied to your failure, or someone's beauty is not tied to your ugliness, that's when you will kind of like move away from these feelings. And I don't want anyone who's listening to this to feel bad because they feel like they're often in the third category of jealousy or in the second category of jealousy. Varying situations in our lives make us feel certain ways. Some situations make us feel harder about a certain thing, and some situations can make us feel, if I can say, less harder about certain things. And don't stay bitter and stay jealous of people. It's not a good exercise spiritually. To kind of sum up the 3 forms of jealousy I said, first one is everyday jealousy. Like someone got something that you wanted and you were ready to get, but you just did not get it yet. Understandable, but we tried to work and get away from it. Second form of jealousy, which is I don't even want it. Like, I genuinely don't. I could even interchange it with the third one, but like just in order. I don't even want it, but I'm just angry that you got it. That is something you got to work a little bit more on, because it says that there's something kind of going on with your heart and with your perception of God and just your, you know, your the state of your spiritual health. And the last one for me is like SOS. You need some help. You cannot be jealous of someone who already has what you have. Like, there's some type of deep insecurity or some type of like inner child, something that's not healed, because you have to be secure in your own capacities. Like, you got it because you got it because you're worth it, and this person got it because they got it, but it has nothing to do with you. So honestly, the most important things with watching these kind of self-help videos is not just watching them and closing the app and just never working on these things again. Self-help is only helpful as much as you apply it. So kind of try to see in your life where these kind of situations or these kind of emotions manifest, and try to actively work against them. And the ways you can work against them, always keep yourself grounded and know that God is the most giving. God gives you what you need at the time you need it. If he doesn't give you something, it's just because it's not your time. And just because someone has it does not mean you will never get it. You'll get it in your own due time. God doesn't put something in your heart for him to like dangle it in front of you and you're never gonna get it. I promise you. That's because you have a perception of God that, you know, you have to work on. But like the way I see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if I'm thinking about something, or I'm thinking about a certain thing so much and I really want to achieve that and I really want to get that, he's keeping it in my mind, not just to like dangle it in front of me and tell me I'm never gonna get it. Maybe the way I go about it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might try to redirect me into a different way. Maybe the way I'm going about it is not a way that I should, but I feel like ultimately God wants what's best for you. He's not put you here to suffer. You know, you can enjoy life, enjoy the finer things, of course, in line with your spiritual path. That's all I have to say for today's video. So stay safe, take care, all the best, and can't wait to see you in the next video. Take care. Maya.